rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawn. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena on. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcasted like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the #1 Chief Rocket Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezie, and welcome to the premier Knicks in the Nighttime joint, the Knicks in the Night podcast. Salute to the Lawrence Tears family. Salute to y'all, man. Late Sunday night in the place to be, man, with my people. I'm glad to see y'all, man. Good to be with y'all. Yeah, man, salute. Let me see who in the building. The son of the legend, Kerry Cox, is in the building. Endgame is in the building. Just Knicks, what's good? Greg Hamilton is in the building. Salute, Greg Hamilton. Raphael is in the building. Salute. One of the biggest content creators in the game. Raphael is in the building. Raphael, what's good, brother? What is good? Salute, man. I just got a message. Hold on. All right, there we go. Just sent a message to my mans, to my peoples. Salute. All right. So, how'd y'all feel about the way the Knicks look tonight, man? Miguel P in the building. Salute. How did y'all feel about what y'all saw tonight? New York Knicks versus Portland Trailblazers. Just feel like the Knicks did pretty good tonight. Let me just say that. I felt like the Knicks played really good tonight. There were a few dull moments that are going to happen in any game, regardless of what NBA opponent you play, right? But I felt as if overall the Knicks played a pretty good game. Overall, they did. Also feel like this team, Portland, I think the Knicks were a bad matchup for this Portland team. Like, I think this Portland team is good. I think the Knicks were a bad matchup for them, if that makes sense. Right? Luna Jean is in the building. Killer B is in the building. Salute. As we watched the game together on Discord, I felt like Portland's athleticism Portland's length and athleticism should have been a problem for this Knicks team, especially at center and the guard spots, right? But as the game progressed, it seemed like the Knicks could unlock or resolve any issue or problem that Portland generally opposes to any opponent on any night. I don't see where their game plan and style of play was even bothersome for the Knicks. Now, did Portland go on runs tonight? Of course they did. Of course they did. Right? Of course they did. Right? But at the same time, there were a few moments where I felt like if things went slightly our way a little bit, we probably would have blown them out. I mean, blown them out. Right? One thing is, a lot of those shots that Deuce had go in and out, I'm like, if Deuce hits even a third of those open looks he got, this Portland team is gone. And Deuce generally doesn't miss those. This is not me slamming Deuce, critiquing Deuce. This is me saying that, man, some of those looks that Deuce got, they usually go in, man. Portland was very fortunate. Portland was very fortunate tonight with a few things. I love the energy from Josh Hart. I think Josh Hart is probably a missing piece, right? Josh Hart had probably, well, of course he was a missing piece. He hadn't been in the lineup, but clearly Josh's energy was missing for the past 17 days or so. One of the things that were missing from the Knicks was Josh Hart. One of the other things that I saw too is one of the things that I saw too was the veterans played heavy minutes tonight. And I think that is going to be what Mike Brown does going forward. The hot hand is going to play, right? The hot hand is going to play. Now, here's the thing. If you're a fan, that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see the hot hand, regardless who it is, get most of the minutes. Deuce played 35 minutes tonight, and he was not the hot hand offensively, but he was the hot hand in terms of chemistry, I felt like. I felt like Deuce was kind of helping hold units together. He was the connective tissue, right, for a lot of the units. Anybody in the chat disagree? Tell me your thoughts. You think Deuce maybe had an off game a little bit? Miguel P is in the building. Dorcosaurus is in the building. Who else did I see come in here? All right. Yeah, who else did I see in here? All right. Just going to move this here and make this a little bit bigger. There we are. And I'm going to take off. Oh, no, I won't take this hat off. Keep rocking that. So Jordan Clarkson played a total of 13 minutes. That was a surprise to me. Right? Dorcosaurus, Jordan Clarkson, they're all the same person. Is that true? Dorcosaurus, Jordan Clarkson are the same person? Is Jordan Clarkson a Dorkosaurus Rex doppelganger? Probably not. Maybe I just got names mixed up. yo, maybe I just got names mixed up. That's probably what it was, right? Okay. So Jordan Clarkson played 13 minutes. In those 13 minutes, in those 13 minutes, I honestly don't know what I was looking at. Right? I didn't know what I was looking at. Right? I just don't. I was like, yo, he's out here. He's doing something. Hey, otherwise, I just sent you a kite, bro. I sent otherwise maybe the 10th kite of the week, if you count, if you're on or the first kite of this week, maybe. At times, the Jordan Clarkson thing puzzles me in a sense because I don't know what he's doing. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't know what he's doing. It's the complete opposite. I think Jordan Clarkson always has a plan. I just don't know what that plan is. Right? I don't know. Right? I don't know what I saw. What I will say though is that even though Miles McBride didn't shoot the ball well, I think there was a level of offensive continuity that we were able to sustain so that OG and Mikal Bridges could basically, the starting lineup shot over 50%, basically is what I'm getting at. OG 9 for 15, Cat 9 for 13, Josh 7 for 15, Bridges 8 for 15, and Brunson 10 for 19. Right? So in terms of balance and getting the shot you want, I think the Knicks did a great job of doing that. However, yeah. I really, really, really think that if Clarkson and based on what we saw, right? Steeler fan is in the building. Salute. Based on what we saw, if you just look at the box score, you would think that the offense was super efficient. What I'll say is the offense was in a good place. They know where they wanted to get to, even if they didn't know how to get there at times. Right? I think they know what they want to do, right? But we don't know how to get there. What I would also say is Mo Diawara bringing the ball up, ball handling with his offhand was impressive. I don't know if he's right-handed or left-handed, right? So when I say off, I'm merely going to say with the ball, with the hand away from the defender. So when I say offhand, I mean if somebody's here, Diawara can dribble this way. Or if they're here, Diawara can dribble this way, right? And so to see him do that under pressure tonight 2 or 3 times was impressive to me. Right. Also, the Knicks won by 9 and only shot 8 free throws. The Knicks had 45 rebounds and only had 8 free throws. So Portland shot 25 free throws. That was surprising to me. But Denny Avdija, like they said on the broadcast, he does a great job getting to the line. Right. So this Portland game, I'm not going to lie to you. I know there are a lot of things to point out. There are a lot of things to point out in this Portland game. Honestly, I really don't want to. If we're honest, I felt like this Portland team was going to be a team that we should beat even with starters out. And I feel the same way about Wednesday's game against Sacramento. I feel like Wednesday's game against Sacramento is the same type of game, right? I know they're scrappy. I know they have an odd mixture of talent. I know that they have a guy or two that can get hot from the field. I know they have balanced scoring. I know they have a bunch of guys, Malik Monk, Renaud, Westbrook, Murray. I know they have a bunch of guys that can get double-digit points. Right? I know that. Right? I know we'll be seeing Precious Achiuwa and such, right? But I think I took this game for granted. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I know I shouldn't. We should not, as Knicks fans, take any games for granted. But I did take this game for granted. I didn't think the Knicks were going to lose Friday night and then come right back and then lose again on Sunday night. So, yeah. Okay, let's see. All right. All right. So I may have made a mistake somewhere. Hold on, y'all. I may have made a mistake somewhere. I can fix it. Hold on. Bear with me. I thought I did the right thing here. Let me see. Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Y'all, bear with me, y'all. Just for a second, okay? I'm human, y'all. I'm not totally perfect 100% of the time. Sometimes I'm flawed. All right. Or sometimes I make mistakes. Okay. All right. Justo is in the building. Salute. Jay, the chosen one, is in the building. Salute. Dripmore is in the building. Salute. All right. So now that I have that out of the way, let me say this. So I'm looking at the Sacramento Kings stats as I made a minor adjustment here. All right. So now I'm checking out Sacramento, and I checked them out before. I honestly believe the Sacramento Kings might be the worst team in basketball right now. I don't know if their record says that, but I'll double check. Yes, the Sacramento Kings are probably the worst team in basketball. Right? Indiana has a worse record, but they have a better roster. Right? The Indiana Pacers went to the NBA Finals to the first pick in the draft in 1 year. Right? But when I look at the Sacramento Kings, and I'm going to move on to the Sacramento because y'all don't want to hear about Portland, bro. Y'all don't want to hear about Portland because they didn't really threaten us. They also didn't they don't have players that are attainable for the Knicks. Like there's like no real discussion about Portland in my mind. Right? There's nothing to talk about with Portland. Here's the thing about Sacramento, though. If the Knicks were having offensive issues, they're going to get right against this Sacramento Kings team. Whatever issues that bothered the offense against the rest of the league, their defense is bad. Right? Their defense is bad. They give up 90 shots a game. Sacramento gives up 90 shots a game. Right? And on those 90 shots a game, they let teams shoot 49.6 points per game from the floor. Randall is in the building. They also allow teams to shoot. Where's their 3-point percentage? They allow teams to shoot 35.8% from three, which is relatively good. But then it makes me think, where do they give up those extra points? Do they give up points at the rim? They may be giving up points at the rim. How does Sacramento rebound? Sacramento gives up 46 rebounds a game. Right? Sacramento also allows teams to give up 28 assists per game. Now, what does Sacramento do? What does Sacramento do? Jay, the chosen one, is in the building. Salute.
Salute.
Yeah, man, that's my bad. I thought I sent, bro, it was a lot of stuff, man. I sent a lot of stuff. But Sacramento gives up about 122 points a game. They score less than 110 a game. And they'll be missing their point guard Wednesday against the Knicks. So they shoot at an average of they can't shoot threes either. They shoot 34% from three. What's good, man? What's on your mind about this Knicks game tonight and about Sacramento, bro?
Well, I will start with the last thing you just said, talking about Sacramento. For all the flaws that they have and the rebounding issues that they have, they just beat the Houston Rockets 111-98. So you held the Houston Rockets under 100 and you beat them. To me, they're a weird anomaly. You take a look at that lineup, that their team and you would be like, they should have better. They should be better, but I agree with you. Indiana has a better all-around lineup. They're just better, younger. There's an aging, older team. So when you expect more out of DeMar or Zach or Levine or Precious is starting with them, that's all I'll say. I'll leave it at Precious is
Russell Westbrook is starting for them right now.
And Westbrook is starting for them. They also just made me a boatload of money. Anyway, I'm not here to promote that type of thing, fellas. We don't do those. I will say that there are people on the team. Like I look at this year and I laugh because I look at the numbers that Precious got today and that who we had, and I think who we did not appreciate as much as we should. Now, am I overshooting by saying that? Maybe. Was Precious just Precious? Yeah. But then we went out and got a guy, same height, same size, whatever, supposed to be better at all things. And I know but listen, I know the difference between playing 10 minutes and playing 38 minutes. In 38 minutes, the man got 10 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. But would he have gotten, how much would he have gotten in a 15-minute role here? And I think that's the biggest difference.
That's the biggest difference.
That's the biggest difference, period. So, as far as tonight, and that's all I got for you with Sacramento. I look at some of these people, some of these guys, and they're hurting. Obviously, one last thing, losing Sabonis from jump also hurt your team pretty bad. But I really don't want to talk about Sacramento so much, but they are the worst team in the league. Tonight's game.
Okay.
Tonight's game, I saw fluidity. I saw not a lot of silly mistakes or silly fouls. I saw very pass, how I like to say pass, go. Pass, go. That's a better way of saying it, JJ. Thank you. I would say there was a lot of balanced scoring. There was a lot of, if you notice, the two big men were passing not only well, but to each other.
To each other, which was great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was perfect.
The pass that they both hit each other in a similar way. JJ got my eye caught on. I gotta turn the chat over. Sorry. Yeah, maybe, buddy. We'll talk about that.
Right. Yeah. We'll talk about
We'll talk about that. They both hit each other on the pass. It was so nice. It was like somebody fed Cat the ball. I think it was OG. Fed Cat the ball, and Mitch I wish he would do every play, comes bolting down the middle. As soon as Cat gets the ball, it's like 1 foot, almost a handoff for a dunk. So I think that as far as tonight's game goes, we got kind of back on our winning on our winning recipe. This is one game, right? I don't want to say, all right, we're out of where we are, but when we were running well, we were scoring these type of numbers and keeping people at this number or less, usually under 110. So, I like the lines. You take a look at some of these lines. JB with 26, 6, and 6. That's a nice line. He didn't have to go bananas to get 35 points to win tonight. That's fantastic.
Right.
Can we get Bridges every night on 18, 6, and 6 with 3 steals in the block? I'll take that. There's no big deal with that. I think the biggest change here tonight was the presence of one Mr. Joshua Hart.
Josh Hart, yeah.
Yeah. He brings something to the team that no one, he's a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
He brings something to the team that nobody else on this team could bring.
Okay.
In my opinion, no one brings what Josh brings. I'll tell you something that I liked. I mean, everybody did good. I mean, Anobi had OG1 Anobi has been very aggressive. We've seen nice, whereas it seems he's taken off. I think that's kind of like a lapse of, because I've seen Anobi look like he's been getting annoyed. He looked like he couldn't get lift for a little while. Looked like this, not tonight. I'm talking prior to tonight. So he put a great game together tonight. He was very aggressive.
Right.
And I got to shout out Mitchell Robinson, who has now played, if I'm not wrong, 24 minutes and 25 minutes, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yep. With 6 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. 3 steals, guys. 3 steals for Big Mitch. And 3 blocks.
And that assist to Cat was excellent, bro.
Oh my God. Purdy. It was Purdy.
That assist to Cat was excellent. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It really was. The starting lineup, the full starting lineup back.
Right.
Look, and I want everybody to understand that they say Portland got talent on their team. Denny Avdija is a very talented. I think that he's not far away from a superstar. He's he's not far away from a superstar. He's definitely a star. He's an all-star, type of caliber player. So, we didn't play slouches. Sharp. I'll tell you who is unexpectedly quick. Klingon.
Athletic. Klingon is
Very
athletic.
athletic.
Klingon is more athletic than we give him than I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he looks like an O lineman.
Right.
And do you remember at one point when we were watching it where he missed a layup or something, or they got it? I don't remember.
He was in a bad position. He missed because he was in a bad position.
But he was in a bad position. But what did he do? He was already back protecting the rim before we were even crossing the half line. The guy hustles.
Because he hustles, bro.
He hustles, and he doesn't stop hustling. And to be that size, I really want
every day he hustling, bro.
But you know what? And they wrote a rap song about him. which is nuts. It's nuts.
I heard.
His verse is fire. Did you hear his verse on it? Fire.
Yeah, I heard fire.
Yeah, it's fire. It's very quiet as kept. It's fire. But you're talking about a man. I just checked out his number. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Okay.
The guy beat us down the court to be a rim protector at 7'2", 280 pounds. 280.
280, bro. That man is huge.
Man, when he was born, he was 135 already.
Already, bro.
6 feet, 135 already.
Already, bro.
Poor mother. I'm gonna just say though, that's something crazy to be hustling like that, and I think he has a very bright future. There's a couple people on this team with bright futures. I'm not a hater.
I just crush a lot.
I'm gonna do. Don't make me do the whole song right now. I will do the whole entire thing.
Right,
I will even do the ad libs.
Right.
I will do the radio version. I will do every part of it.
Right.
They have a team that, if healthy, fully healthy, all around the board, could be a problem. They got a good team. They got a young. They got some youngsters on that team. They're missing Grant
Tonight. We're missing Grant. Yeah.
Right. Thibault and I'm not gonna say Damian Lillard because it's just not fair to say that.
But Drew Holiday came off the bench tonight.
Drew Holiday came back tonight off the bench. How about that?
Yeah.
And you know what? And Scoot's not there. That's correct.
Yeah.
And Wesley, Murray, a handful of people. So
right.
I like this young kid, Love, and I like the kid that they start.
He was not afraid.
He is not afraid. 21 points. He played 28 minutes. The fact that he's got the first off the bench, I know a lot of people they're hurt right now. Even while Robert Williams played good. It was a goofy kind of three that he made. All right, great. But look, we played a team that had size. We played a team that could shoot. We played a team with a superstar on. In my eyes, he's at least an all-star. At very least, he's an all-star. He's a star for sure in this league. So, and we played a humongous center. It was fun to see that Mitch and Klingon battle, and I would say that Mitch won that battle against a very big man. He out rebounded him, out blocked him. But the kid could hustle. So back to what we did well rather than that is that we protected the perimeters better tonight, in my estimation. We passed better tonight. Crispy, like we're saying, that even the big men to the big men. And it to me showed us that now we're only missing one person, and we're at full strength. There's a few other things that I want to get at, but
yeah, go ahead, brother.
You want me to keep going on this? Because I noticed a bunch of things. So, all right, brother. So, raise your hand if you saw any of the kids minus 2 minutes playing tonight. I don't see anybody in the chat's hand raised. All right. How about so? What does that say about what Brown's thinking right now? In my mind, Kolick was a major part of what we were doing for a while. No Kolick
Right.
tonight.
Yeah.
We did get the win tonight with not one of those guys playing. We didn't have any two-way player playing. We didn't have McCullough didn't play. Kolick didn't play. And we played an efficient game. What I'm saying about all that is I think that Brown has decided, and we'll see going forward. I had thought that in my head too, that we got to win this game. We had to win this game, for many reasons. But we'll see going forward. But I think that might be what's going to happen going forward. And I'm kind of like. There's something that my kids do. It's called 6-7. I have no idea what the hell's going on with that, but I'm kind of like, I think it means, kind of I don't know how I feel about it.
For my Hispanic people, más o menos. Más o menos.
I'll see. Yeah. So I love that. If that's what it takes to win, then they'll have to wait to get ready during the off season. If that's what it takes for us to fully win, however, I don't think that will be forever. I think it will be until we get back on track, and then it will slowly grow back in. Because Kolick did play a big part in a lot of our wins.
Right.
Diawara was starting to get his groove on in different places. I don't want to see Diawara lose. Look, if Brown's gonna keep it like this, and do the Tibbs thing, sort of, then we're probably gonna be tired at the end of the year. So I don't see him doing this fully for a long spurt, but I could see him doing it for a short period of time to get us back on track.
Okay.
Playing the vets and playing, the starting lineup, and I still think though that people like Kolick and Hakaporti even, because if you're gonna play. If you notice at one time, everybody noticed that one time when OG was center.
Yeah, OG at the 5, bro. To end the game, to close out the game. OG at the 5
for a handful of minutes, and they ran well. They did what they had to do. I'm interested. I'm just really interested, and I've said this since before the season started. This year is about Brown. It's about Brown and what he could bring to the table. Because when you take out a coach, whether you like his ways or not, whether you think, whether his demeanor and not pivoting and overplaying and not going to the bench and doing certain things, he still brought us up a level every year.
Yeah.
So now this is about Brown and saying, what are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do?
Yeah. And I think Brown also has this thing in the beginning that I like, but if it doesn't work, it's kind of like parenting. Kind of wanted to be one of the guys. which is a complete opposite of the last guy, right?
Right.
He wanted to be one of the guys. He wanted to be king for a day. He wanted to win. He had to win, and don't forget that no matter how you feel about Tibbs, Tibbs don't have kids. He's not married. He is married to basketball.
Yeah.
And he brought us to a level. Now you can't bring in a new guy and level down.
Right.
You got to stay that level up.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see the next to the All-Star break. What Brown does to the All-Star break.
Okay. So you're totally comfortable in the stuff that you're seeing from Mike Brown.
Tonight I was comfortable with it.
Me too.
Tonight.
I am so chat. I was comfortable with some of the things that I saw tonight. And the reason why I was comfortable with some of the things that I saw tonight, or most of the things that I saw tonight, was I don't think tonight's game plan and adjustments were meant to be feature a guy.
Right.
I thought tonight was a exercise in if you trust the system, it'll work. That's what I thought I saw. Right? That's what I thought I saw tonight. If you trust the system, it'll work. So and even with that though, even with that, it's gonna at times it'll be hard to sell guys on trusting each other in this thing, because I know the guys have been together for a minute. Right? I know the guys have been together for a minute. At the same time, with such a varied and diverse skill set, and with everyone healthy, with a varied skill set and with everyone healthy, it's kind of like that thing of we still have to understand the nuances and delicacies of guys' game. And plus, these guys put so much work into their game that their improvements from the offseason, is going to be like you don't know what guys are good at because they put work in the offseason. And so they still have to develop certain parts of their game. And so it's weird in that it's kind of weird in that sense. Right? King in the building. Nick X says not pulling Mitch was hard for Mike not to do with Cat on the bench. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I dig it. So I'm with you in terms of the kind of like the direction of like what you're thinking about and such. So I'm with you. I think it was still about, this is a system. We need to do this. Because I think they took a ton of shots today, bro. I think they Chat, it seems like every 10 seconds they were getting it. The Knicks took 99 shots in 48 minutes.
I was saying almost 100 shots.
So basically they took 2.012 something shots per minute, which means if you equate that with the other team taking 84 shots, that means the Knicks, basically what I'm saying is the Knicks put up a ton of shots. That's a ton of shots, right?
I like the math that you were doing though. That was
That's at Northern New Jersey public schools, Hudson County public schools, man.
I was about to say that's the type of stuff I'll be doing with my kids. I'd be like, yeah, but this is how you do it. Common Core, get it out of here. Anyway, I'm listening, brother.
Yeah, I think this was a get right game, basically, and I think the Sacramento game is also gonna be a get right game, right? And what I mean by that is not that we're gonna take Sacramento for granted, but I think we're gonna try to establish a dominance through repetition and system. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think we're going to switch up very much for a little while.
Right.
Now, I could be completely wrong, but I feel like they need to get back on track some sort of way. And this tonight we saw it. We saw what worked.
What did you see defensively?
I saw good switches. I saw they were blocking out well, rebounding. They weren't making much, as I call, like doofy mistakes. You're getting out on the perimeter, though. I still think we need to work on that. The perimeter defense. And that's what I saw in the defense. We definitely forced some turnovers, a handful of them. When we didn't turn it over, so that's big. And yeah, I thought we switched well. We collapsed well. We also pressured well. If I had one thing that I didn't like on the defense is we still need to stop leaving the open man at on the three. We did better today for sure, but there was ample times. Remember, I was screaming, "What are you doing over? He's free over there. He's free over there." Like,
I think the communication was good, but just to follow up on the point though that was made earlier. So in this game, on average, the Knicks took a shot about once every 29 seconds. So when you couple that with how they defended Portland, so basically what it sounds like is the Knicks the Knicks gave up a shot and didn't let Portland hold on to the basketball so they could also get up shots.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, bro.
Yeah, really interesting. Pressure bust pipes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's our type of game. The game when we were one game away from being in first. That's the game we played tonight.
Okay.
In my view, that's what we played.
Okay.
That's about 1.5 right 2.5 seconds.
Agreed. How did Josh Hart impact tonight's defense?
How does Josh Hart impact everything? Josh Hart is a dog, man. He just is nonstop, and I think having him on the floor allowed for everybody to defend their own man. You know what I'm saying by that? Like, in other words, yeah. In other words, we didn't. So I'll say it to the others, to the folks in the chat that also know this. You know, when you have people on that can't defend so well, often you will have to help them by doubling their man, which then leaves your man open.
Right.
Especially in the past, whether it be, and I'll just say it, whether it be Cat or Brunson in the past, or a smaller guy, even in Kolick or somebody, you know what I mean? Somebody like that. Tonight, we didn't have, you know, back then, you would have OG, or you would have Mikhail collapse, come in, help out, wide open three. Move, or wide open three, we run over there to get it, and then wide open dunk. So
right,
you don't have to do that when you have a guy who could stay on his own guy. Not only that, but he is an energizer running rabbit bunny, bro. He could help and collapse back quick, whether it be for Brunson, whether it might be that. I will also say that Cat is playing different basketball. Well, tonight. I won't stay on tonight. Let's just stay on tonight. He, with Josh there, it allows Cat to just stay down low or bring Klingon.
He was moving like one, bro.
So he was. Look, he was moving like one, no doubt about it. And do both.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah. I didn't know what to say, Dr. Spock on Nanu.
Yeah, Nanu. Oh, if you don't, if somebody say in the chat what Nano is, and Uncle Freezie gonna get you courtside seats. Anyway, to the local pickup game is what I meant. So right. There you go.
Right.
All right, Pete's one of the best who ever did it. Nanu. Yeah, so without making the foolish, we're gonna have to keep progressing in life with everything you do, no matter how good you are at it or wherever you still want to get better and better at it. At least that's my mindset in life. I might be good at this, but I want to keep getting better and better and better at it. So, if you remember early, Hart try to get going, but he was still sticking his man, even though he wasn't getting going, still sticking his man. Then he hit the three. Then he hit it again. Now once you start doing that, you're changing their scheme while you're keeping your scheme alive. And did it again, then he got a layup and all this other stuff, and it opens up everybody else because now you got to worry about another dude. And no disrespect to Miles, but this starting lineup, bigger, I just like it better. I like it better. I prefer Miles coming off the bench, hitting the three, playing scrappy defense, staying in front of his man, and hitting that three. I like that. I like that better. And yeah, we're a better team with the starting lineup, our official starting lineup, which is what we had tonight.
What was missing from tonight's game? What didn't occur in tonight's game, or would you see that you wish you would have seen more of?
What do I wish I have seen? Well, we kept them at a good point. Again, the perimeter defense still needs work. It still needs work. I'm gonna stay on top of that. That is my number one issue with this team. Um, and I saw Cat down low a few times. The way I want him to be like that, I want people to do things that it feels like in my head they should be doing. Though Cat feels more comfortable starting usually up top, middle, center, but he went down there and the ball was passed down there, and then he's able to facilitate or drive, turn around and dunk, or go for a bucket. Also, I guess I also would like to have seen a little bit more mid-range shot. Actually, in general, I want to see more mid-range shots. I'm so tired. The other night was the epitome of how I felt about this team. When OG drove, was directly under the net and turned around and threw it out to, I think it was JB. I think it was Miles, but it could have been JB. We didn't do that tonight. I was happy about that. So more mid-range. I mean, what happened? I mean, other teams doing it. I feel like we lost the idea of how to do it, Bridges was doing, Mikhail was doing that a lot in the beginning of the year. That's his bread and butter. Cutting to the middle, 10 feet, 12 feet away, boom.
Boom. Yeah. Yeah.
A Mike Breen one. Boom.
Right.
Boom.
One of the things I wish we would have saw more of is the selfish three-pointers. I think we hunted for threes, and we just hunted for like the most wide open of the wide open three-pointers. Right. And like 5 or 6 of the threes that we took, I felt like I was talking about Shazbot.
I'm reading things on here that's great. Almost repeat.
You can't read and laugh at everything you see on the internet, bro. Let me take this thing down, bro.
I almost died. Before Miggy said more cowbell, I almost repeated it.
Right.
What did you want to see more in the game? I'm about to say cowbell.
Cowbells, right.
Right. And if you know, that is oh, that's hilarious. Good job.
Yeah, that is hilarious, bro.
Salute to you. That's funny.
What I would say is this also. I wish we, instead of Deuce kicking it into the corner for a guy that's less efficient at three-pointers but has an easier shot, I just prefer Deuce to shoot it. If that makes sense. Right? So instead of us kicking it around until we get a wide open three-point shot, hey, if that thing hits OG's hands in the corner, just shoot it, bro. Right? Like a few of them, I felt like, we doing too much here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm all in on offensive efficiency and letting everyone touch it. And I'm all for passing the ball, sharing, running the offense.
Mm-hmm.
But some of that I felt like we got to kind of take advantage of our strengths. And Deuce is a great 3-point shooter. Did he shoot it well tonight? Maybe not. But
Definitely
is
not
he?
early.
Yeah, but is he a great 3-point shooter? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like Deuce is the man now. Like we don't even have to question if Deuce can shoot. He can shoot. You know. One of the other things that I felt like we missed a little bit tonight was putting pressure on the basketball. They didn't run a traditional point guard much, and I felt like we should have pressured the ball more up the floor. Like when you let OG Anunoby try to bring the ball up and see what another team does. You let Mikal Bridges try to bring the ball up the floor, you see what another team does, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
They pressure the ball. I felt like we should have maybe pressured Denny Avdija in the front court more, bringing the ball up the floor.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
So and listen, and I'm not nitpicking. I'm not nitpicking. What I'm saying is the question that was asked is, what did you see tonight that you wish you could have saw a little bit more? And that's my answer to it. In fairness, Jay, the chosen one, answered with his answer, and I just answered with mine. Right. So I'm not nitpicking, right? I'm not nitpicking, and I'm not saying that the Knicks didn't do well. Right, because overall, I think this game probably gets an A or an A plus.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that.
Right, an A or an A plus. That's what I think about tonight's game.
Yep.
So, let me see here. What other thought?
That's really interesting. I'll be quiet until you could do that, but that's really interesting what you just said.
Yeah, that was just a thought, man. Nothing major.
It makes a lot of sense. So the guy is not a traditional point guard. He is a point forward, and
right.
You got to press him.
Right. Yeah, just a little bit, right? Yeah, just a little bit.
Definitely.
More top-notch tea is in the building. Salute. What happened in tonight's game you felt like you wish you would have saw less of? I'll start. I wish I would have saw less of the snatching of Mo Diawara. I think Mo could have played more minutes.
More than one?
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. But the thing about the thing about it is you have to have some type of trust and consequences thing. Right? Trust and consequences thing. You trust a kid to play. If he don't do what you tell him to do, you can only tell him stuff so much, right? Mm-hmm. So is the correction tool less playing time? Because you don't want to call it punishment. Because you don't want to we're all a team here. You don't want to punish players, right? But what you want to do is like take a course correction and have them understand how important it is to get the finer details right.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Anything you probably were like, I wish I would have saw less.
All right. So it's a little bit different than what you said earlier. I know the idea of getting out of a funk is often to keep shooting it till you're comfortable. I think there was a point in time where McBride was like 1 for 5 at the three. Around that time, get passed out. So I do. So it's crazy. My mind is like mixed right now. I do agree with taking the shot. The better person. He is the better shooter than OG. Obviously, from the three, but there was a point where he was double teamed by two much bigger people, and he shot it.
You're talking Jalen Brunson, right? Those side out what you call it, traps. Whenever you go to one side of the floor, the traps.
Press traps.
Yeah,
they were pressuring the pressure traps when they get them up in the corner. That goes with him, and a little bit produced tonight because of the early on that happened to him one time where he was trapped by two larger guys. But I tell you what, I could see less. I would like to see less. And Hart and Brunson are my two favorite players on the team. But I would love to see less than of those. Like, I feel like Brunson holds the ball too long and waits for the press to come over. And you gotta stop doing that. That's a turnover in the waiting, right? 100%, or a forced shot, or whatever it might be. It's not a good look. But besides that, I loved our pace. I loved, this is a type of game, the blueprint to a type of game. Piggybacking on what you just said, how do you give a guy a minute and expect him to ever grow and be successful for your team? Now, I'm guessing he's giving him a minute so Mitch could take a breather or whatever it is. That's not, that's different than, him getting out there and he makes a bad shot and gets yanked out. I thought his minute was just for Mitch to get some air or a cat or whoever it was at the time. But I don't know. I liked what I saw. It doesn't take Brunson to get 30 points to get this. It doesn't take, we saw some alley-oops. We saw some great passing from the big men. We saw a lot of that stuff. So, I think I would like to see more of what I saw than less of, and then of course less of the traps. More of what we saw tonight, and that was the idea. But they had Kolick or somebody else or Mikhail at times coming up the floor with JB. I don't like. I particularly don't like it when it's JB and Deuce bringing it up, because it's two of our smaller guys, and I think you need somebody. Even though Kolick he is a better ball handler than Deuce. So, but I don't know. I think tonight is exactly what we want to do. And I call, today, earlier I was asked, what I was looking for. I was looking for over 30 assists. I think every time we get over 30 assists, I don't know that I don't call, I'm not going to even say it because I don't want to be quoted on it. But I know that when we get 30 assists, we generally win the game if we get over that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we got Nick Yak saying 32. I would say that's right. And look what it turns into.
Okay. I would say so. Nick Yak and I agree a lot. Nobody agrees on everything, right? Like
Right.
nobody's going to agree on everything. And then when you do, things get kind of weird. Like
It's very weird.
is he just going along to get along or whatever it is? You know how we are. We all human, right? All human.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But I think I like what Paris Duggar says though. And Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar says, quietly, our big Achilles heel is we have the worst passing skills. We pass a lot, but we lack the skill of passing, which leads to lead blowing turnovers. And in that, I understand because I equate that immediately to playmaking.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between base level passing and being a playmaker. Are you a playmaker, basically? Right? Are you a playmaker? And when you hear that, when I ask that, in my mind, I'm like, can you be elite at base level passing? Yes, Josh is great at it.
Yep.
How many players on your team, though, are going to be elite ball handling playmakers, passers, and play at the same time? That's the thing. It's how many playmakers, how many John Stocktons can you put in one lineup? Right? Like if you
Right.
have a Stockton, the other Stockton is like, give me the ball, man, so I can
And
you know what I'm saying?
he's like, John, shut up.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like you have three Johns standing there arguing with each other. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I understand where Paris Douglas is coming from because I agree. Like, I'm with him in that I'm with Paris Douglas in that sense of um the playmaking because when I read this, the first thing I thought was, is he referring to Tyler Kolek not playing? Because if this is a reference to Tyler Kolek not playing, then it's an interesting take. And so, chat, if you read it on the surface, and don't necessarily go, what's the opposite side of this? Like, what's the angle, right? What's the angle of it? I think it does that super chat specifically an injustice. I think the question is a very good question in that it poses this thing of, furthermore, is this a question about, is this super chat about the passing IQ, knowing when to pass and where to pass it, or is it more about passing accuracy? Can I hit this person from 20 feet away? Can I hit this person in their shooting pocket so they can just go straight into their shooting motion? Right? And so when I read this, I think it's a combination of both, but to what degree when you talk about more than one person as a passer? Because everybody's not going to be able to do it.
Is that almost like saying, like,
It's me spilling my guts on the topic, and I probably shouldn't have.
No, but it makes sense. It's like not all assists are the same.
Right.
It's kind of like where you're shooting for. Like, there's a bunch of people get assists during the game. Does that mean they're playmakers? They made that play, but are they playmakers?
That's what I think. That's what I think Paris Tucker is going for right here in this moment. Like, I think that's what Paris Tucker is saying.
Well, we have to see what this is saying.
Right.
Criticized JB for doing what Stars do is crap. If he was turning down shots in the heat of the battle, we'll be reckoning for running through the fire.
Right. Yeah. Paris Tucker, thank you for that. Thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Tucker says basically criticizing JB for doing what stars do is crap, basically, because we were begging for a star point guard for years, and now we have one. And if he was turning down shots in the heat of battle, we would be ripping him for running from the smoke. And I agree. Again, I agree. Again, we're like-minded in that, right? Because we've had people here that ran from the smoke, and it wasn't nice to watch every night.
No, not at all. No,
Yeah.
no. But again, he had I agree with this one right here. I agree with so much right here. You know, to rip this guy is our best scorer. Period. And he still got 8 assists. So
Right.
he's a playmaker. He's a point guard who's also a shooting guard. So he's a playmaker, and he's your go-to guy for getting points.
Right.
So yeah, and not making, you can make a dumb pass and it can still turn into an assist.
Right. Right.
It could happen, and it happens all the time. And just because you see it on the stats doesn't mean that it was, oh wow, this guy got 4 assists. Yeah, but every time he got the assist, he was falling on the floor. He was trapped in the corner, got a rebound, threw the ball over his head, behind his head, like in the Hail Mary, and somebody caught it. You don't see those type of things. All you see is the assist. So, but yeah. So, it's producer.
Thank you for the
He's a producer.
contribution. Yeah, Patrick says, "Who was the player of the month in December?" Next subject, right? Hey, appreciate you, man. Hey, man, I get the point. I don't care about the player of the month in December.
Yeah,
I don't care. But I get why you asked that though. So yeah, the point is taken. Like yeah. I get the point why that was asked.
Tyler Kolek.
Yeah, it's all
Anyway,
So what's your expectation for this next stretch of games? Say headed to these last few games headed into the All-Star break. What do you want to see heading into the All-Star break?
cohesive play, smart, intelligent passing. I think I actually saw that. But smart passing, crashing boards, spacing the floor, It would be nice to see this being able to be done while also having enough minutes for Diawara and Kolick and company to play.
Okay.
But the non-intelligent answer is I would like to see us win a bunch of games in a row. The intelligent answer would be I would like to see all those things, 30 assists, hit our free throws because they're free, just like, you know, pressing like is and stuff like that. You know, those type of things are the things I like to see.
I felt like I unfairly asked you a loaded question. Like, and my intent wasn't to ask an unfair question. My intent was to get as much information as possible for the viewers. Like, y'all, listen, y'all know I do this for y'all. I'm actually multitasking, doing like 3 things right now for y'all, right? Not just, you know, because my whole thing, the existence of Lawrence Tears is for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, but here's the thing. When I asked that, I did have to stand back and let you answer the question in fairness because it's the question on the floor. And then when you said that, I'm like, ooh. now you pried answers out of me. Like now you replied responses out of me when okay. So like you said, the base level answer is a bunch of wins, right?
That's base level.
That's the low hanging fruit, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the lowest hanging fruit.
I think the chat wants, and I'll say what I think what I'd like and what the chat wants also is. I think the chat, the fan base wants to see is either a trade or no trade. Just get it over with. Like if you're gonna do something, do it. Listen. I'm against doing a trade of any type, right? I don't want any type of trade, none, right? I'm tired of the hamster wheel. Like the excuse is always, well, such and such just got here. Such and such is always just getting here, right? Such and such is always just getting here because we're always like adding, taking away, right? Yeah. My thing is, if you're gonna trade for Giannis, do it tonight, man. Get it over with, right? I don't want to sit through a month of the Knicks have been in primary discussions with Giannis's agent and the Bucks want to. I don't want to hear that for another month.
Yeah.
Right. I would love for the Knicks to be like, hey, listen, we have who we have. This is who we're going into the playoffs with. Or, hey, y'all, we're going big game hunting. We just traded for Giannis, and we're going to add a couple of other pieces by Wednesday, and that'll be it. Right? That's where I am with it. Right? Don't drag me through the thicket. Anybody in here know what a thicket is? Anybody out here know what the woods is? You know how you run through the thicket and you have all them little things stuck in your clothes? You have the little scratches from where you ran through branches and stuff.
And the little burrs, they call burrs or something like that.
Yeah.
And all that.
Yo, anybody in here ever ran from anybody like running for like just running or whatever? And once you get away,
why you look at me when you said that?
No, I'm just talking in general.
I'm messing around.
Right. But if you ever ran or whatever, and like after you get away and you catch your breath and you look at yourself and you're like, dang, man, what the fuck? I'm bleeding.
Right.
I don't even remember, like,
I
you know
got
what I'm saying?
ooh.
So my thing is this, like as a fan, I like the product.
Yeah.
I enjoy the product, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't want to get, as a fan, I don't want to get drugged through the thickets. You know
All
what I'm
right.
saying? Because I know there are other fans that this is their time of year. Like my time of year is the playoffs, where I can break down the strategy of opposing coaches that are not going anywhere for the next 7 games. And I get to break down how they adjust to things that they saw.
Right.
That's my pocket, right? I love that. I
Yeah.
love round 2, game 5 on the road, and coaches already, and they do like things, and we have to break things down. And I love that. That's what I like,
Yeah.
right?
That's so
Right.
crazy, man. I
Right.
was yeah.
But ultimately, if you're going to trade for Anthony Edwards, do it tonight, man. Just go put on a pot of coffee, right, and just get it over with, right. Don't drag this thing out to February 5th, bro. I can't, bro. But at the same time, if you're not going to do anything, just say, hey, listen, Leon Rose, just hey, bro, hey, we're closed. We're closing up shop. We're closing
Shop is
ranks.
closed. Yeah.
Yeah, we just gonna rock with what we got, and y'all enjoy what the other 29 teams do on the trade market, right?
Oh man.
That's one of the things that I like to see between now and the trade deadline. The second thing I like to see in the trade deadline is a fully realized offensive system that Knicks fans can get accustomed to seeing every night, despite the opponent or personnel that we have in uniform that night.
Hmm.
Right? Are we going to run and gun tonight? Shouldn't be the question. The question that night is how much running and gunning should we do? One of the things with this team is I don't know what the identity is. Right? And I'm not knocking the team because I know Mike Brown's a new coach and things take time. But the question is, what do I want to see between now and the All-Star break? That. Refine your identity. Because here's the thing, you don't have to be Mike Tyson if you decide to be a fighter. But if you decide to be a fighter, at least we know you decided to be a fighter. You don't have to be Mike or Deontay Wilder. Right? At least we know that's on the path. But if you decide to be Hussein Bolt, right? Like, okay, we're like, okay, well, that's what we're gonna be.
Yeah.
And I know people, and I know the easy answer is we're gonna be physically and mentally tough. We're gonna be a physically and mentally tough team. No, you not, bro. We complain to the referees all night.
All night.
Right. 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 That's one of the things, man. Like that's my thing. Like, don't shoot me the gas. Like, develop your identity, develop the team identity so fans can get accustomed to it, and players on the roster can develop better in their roles.
I'm so glad I made you do that. I can't lie to you.
I'll be right back.
All right. I'm so glad that I made you do that. The truth is, I wanted to say Yabusele getting traded and who the hell would take him off our hands, but then we would have to lose somebody. Or do we have a team that is fully ready? And of course, I wanted to say I wanted to win every game. I could have pulled stats like I want to go 40% over the threes. I wanted to hit every free throw. Chad, tell me something. What do you want to see before the All-Star break? anybody think that we need to trade a big trade? As do I. As do I. Beautiful. So staying healthy and keep building chemistry and depth. All right.
Yeah.
Getting. I want to address JJ's. I want to see Cat find his game and gain confidence. What I did is I added more to it because the truth was, but I didn't want to start this whole conversation about trade. I was going to talk about Yabusele for a second, and I just went with I want to see some wins, and I'm glad. Not that you called me out, but you called me out on it. It was good. I'm happy for it because I got more. You know, I want to see them hit those threes like you were saying. If you got it and you're the guy who shoots threes, shoot them. You don't have to keep passing it around. I want to see all those things. Perimeter defense. I want to get identity on this team. I want to see Mike Brown get on the court one time while the Zebras aren't calling any damn fouls for us, and go out there and bark on one of them and do something. Maybe get kicked out the damn court, the whole arena. Maybe get kicked out the city. I don't care. Just I want to see some identity on this team too. Now, the two things I read was that I read this from Yahoo on the trading block, and then I read somebody saying that they don't want to throw the last year's first Pacom to move Yahoo. And I think that's you're on that level too, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really don't see. I'm in total agreement. When I disagree, I'll let you know. But I'm in total agreement of wanting to know the identity of the team, to find the right schemes, and for the front office to make an announcement that says, but I highly doubt they're going to do that. I highly doubt that you're going to get a front office announcement saying, I don't know why. Because I feel like they probably would have did it already. I don't know why they didn't do it, but I don't think we are going to get the type of news. Now, you never say never. I it's something that I will never do. Never say never. But if they were going to go out and trade, let's say, Cat or OG and whatever it is and whoever it is to go get Giannis. I don't know, bro. I don't think. I think it's close. This front office seems very close mouth. They're not making noise. They're not. And when they talk like all the time behind the newspaper.
Right.
They pass the message to one guy who passes it to another who finally gets it back to Leon. It's not. I don't know. I just don't see that from this particular team. as far as like the announcements going, or what, not just announcing. When I say announcements, guys, by the way, I'm not talking I need a half page, sports section page of what they plan to do, and this is what we're doing. I don't need any of that stuff, But it would be nice to know, hey, we're not, when we like what we got, we think we can win with what we got. We're not going to have to G on us.
But you know what I'm basing this out of, right?
I do.
I'm basing my opinion off of what James Dolan said. James Dolan said this already. Right? With James Dolan was like, we don't think we're going to be doing anything you feel me?
Right.
The only thing about it is we don't care what people say. We don't listen to it. Like when Dolan said that, in my heart, I felt like he meant business.
Me too.
Because he's the owner. Yeah, he's the owner. Of course, he's going to be the guy. The guy, right?
Right.
He says Leon is the boss and all of that, and I get it. But Dolan's the boss, bro.
Right. Right. My question to you, I'm about to ask you is, did you believe the last part he said?
Yes.
That Leon will override me if he wants to.
Yes, I believe that.
Yeah. If I agree with you and disagree. If he's the boss, then he's the boss. But I do. You know what?
No, see, that's the thing. The thing is being the boss and being the leader are two different things.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? Like being the boss of something means you have the final say so in the one responsibility that you were given by the higher ups.
Yep.
You're the custodian of a thing.
Yes.
Right? Like when you go to school, or whatever, like when you take your kids to school, there are leaders all over the building and they're responsible for different things. Right? Like the people in the cafeteria, they're not responsible for the stuff that's being taught in the classroom.
Right.
The people that's in charge of the building, they're not in charge of the stuff that happens, the learning that occurs in the classroom. The people that drive the buses, they're not. So you can have leaders all over the place. So when I hear Dolan say, you know what? If I want to do a dumb trade like trade Brunson for Trae Young, Leon's going to override me. Well, of course he is.
He better.
Of course he is, because you entrusted him to do a certain thing.
Yeah.
And that would be counter to the thing that you entrusted him with. In my mind, if that makes sense. Like if the Washington Wizards owner and the Knicks owner talk together, and they're like, nah, man, I'll give you Trae Young for 9 first-round picks. Leon Rose, nah, bruh. No.
Look, it's like he took 2 steps like this and went like this. All right, what? Like, wait, what?
Yeah, like, what did he say? What did he say?
Did he say? I know I've been sober 12 years, but that sounded like I was high.
Right.
Yeah, there's something wrong there.
Right. That's it. So when Dolan says that, right? You know what I'm saying? When Dolan says that, I tend to believe what he's saying. And furthermore, who am I to question what Dolan is saying when he owns, operates, employs, deploys, funds, all these things, and I'm just a fan? Who am I to say Dolan's wrong?
No, I totally agree with you. My only other response is, and Nick Yak saying it, it's kind of how I feel. I'm not saying he's gonna override Leon, making the decision, but kind of ask me first before you do it. And I don't know. Dolan used to. So if everybody remembers, and I don't want to make this a huge conversation about Dolan. For me, you can. James Dolan is probably the reason why we don't get a lot of calls. But anyway, Dolan used to be involved in every single thing that the Knicks did.
Right.
He was so in the way, it was horrible. I finally at a good place with James Dolan. Here we get you the right front office. Here,
Right.
you pick the coaches. Here's the check. You write it out.
Right.
So I am good with that. And so when he says that, yeah, I'm gonna believe that. I'm gonna believe that.
Right. Right. Now, I'm gonna, and the reason is because it's not like the Knicks have a bunch of assets that they want to move anyway, so they have to manipulate the market with a narrative. They don't have to do that. The Knicks don't have to manipulate the market with a narrative because, for the most part, they're not going to trade Brunson. They're not going to trade Cat. They're not going to trade OG. They're not going to trade Josh. They're not going to trade Bridges. They're not going to trade Deuce. They're not going to trade Mitch. If anything, they are going to try to address around the fringes. That's it.
That's it.
Right. That's it. And if that's what you're doing, you don't have to put narratives out there in these NBA trade streets to manipulate the market so that you can get the best return on your investment. You're just looking to do something simple.
Word.
It's like, I just want a sandwich. Like, I'm gonna go. Like, here's the thing: I want a sandwich. I'm just gonna go get a loaf of bread. And when you get there, you like see all these different types of bread. You're like, nah, Wonder Bread will do. For this, Wonder Bread will do. For this, Wonder Bread will do. That's for those that ever ate Wonder Bread and understand my analogy.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're Italian, and there are so many different types of bread.
Well.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I didn't want to get into the bread conversation, for God's sake. Yo, look, I made myself some snack. This is Italian bread right here.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, bro.
Tossed with a drop of olive oil and a touch of the good stuff on top, a little bit of Romano and Parmesan. Just saying, I need to lose weight. I got
that's
bread.
That's all you need right there,
at 1
bro.
o'clock in the morning. Yeah, but that's all I need. I know. I didn't want, but I will say, I'm proud of myself. There is tomato and fresh mozzarella next to it with basil on top.
Oh.
The enchilada. So yeah, I now turn this into the cooking show. I just don't see how we make moves if you're not trading any of those other players that you just mentioned. And if you are, how in the hell do you get rid of the one guy that the whole world wants to see go? Not the whole world. The majority of Knick watchers. Is that fair, Knick watchers? And some fans, but mostly Knick watchers, want to go. And that would be Yabu, right? So I got some bad news for everybody. I highly doubt you're going to see that happen.
I doubt it. Yeah. I don't want to see. For one, the thing you said about bread is I agree. Even though I can't partake anymore.
I'm doing my best, brother. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I should not be eating bread at 1 in the morning. Trying to lose weight. But the good news is I'm not going to bed right away. I don't have to start work till, actually I might get up very early. But either way, it doesn't matter. I get up early. I'm going to do a bunch of things. I got music to write, other things to do, and some things to write up regarding what we spoke about earlier. So I'm going to be moving. I pace a lot. He says Yabu's a goner.
That makes me sad, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, everybody, we'll wrap right here. Then we'll wrap right here, right before the 2 hour mark, because I was gonna wrap anyway. So, yeah, so we can wrap right here, and what we'll do is we'll probably see y'all probably when we see y'all. Knicks at Night podcast probably tomorrow at some point. But we'll holler at y'all tomorrow, man. Yeah, everyone have a good night. We'll see y'all later. Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all.
I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal for how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go?